And let's talk about Luigi Mangione, who made his appearance, had his day in court. I told you, like, everybody having a day in court. Diddy got his court day set up. Luigi already went into court to plead not guilty, as he should. And then we have, but we still got Austin Wolf still trying to get his court date together. So Luigi Mangione pleaded not guilty to red room charges that could land him in prison for the rest of his life in New York State Court on Monday morning, where his lawyers say any potential jury would be prejudiced by the cinematic perp walk to which he arrived in New York City. Now, I don't know if y'all seen that video, and I wish. Oh wait, I think I put it on my TikTok where they did him. Where they had him do that perp walk in New York across the bridge. I'm like, wait, hold on, what is that? Because I'm like, close this. Well, I can't pull it up because my TikTok pretty much has I told you I had to log into all my stuff. Every time my computer updates, whatever, I have to log into all my social media platforms. I did post a video on my TikTok of him doing a whole perp walk situation where they literally had an army of, police and everything. They walking him across the bridge or whatever the case was. I'm like, why does this feel like a scene out of Man of Steel? Well, y'all did that with Superman, or some people have been comparing him to the Joker, as in the angle that Christopher Nolan was trying to hit with Heath Ledger's Joker in his was it The Dark Knight? And I'm like, you know what? You might be right with that because of the chaos that he had put forth. And then you kind of think like, some people actually agree with the Joker in what his motivation was for that movie. So yeah, but I don't understand this. Now we've seen mass shooters that get a cop that arrests them and walk them out if you white. Pretty much. If you don't unalive yourself, then you get one cop that jumps on and gives you a little escort to wherever you got to go. But when it comes to this young man who allegedly pow-powed a CEO of a company, what basically they're showing, and that imbecile Mayor Eric Adams, that idiot, I cannot wait until we get to the point of voting his ass out. One of the worst mayors in New York, and that's not saying by a lot, because we've had a lot of worse mayors. Giuliani being one of them. Mayor Koch, well, I don't remember Mayor Koch, before my time, but I know Giuliani, couldn't stand him when he was the mayor of New York, and then we got this freaking idiot who seems to be wanting to side more or less with CEOs and people with money because he's been bought and paid for. This is why he's groveling at the feet of Donald Trump to pardon him. But I'm like, sir, you got to be tried and go to trial or whatever in order for you to be pardoned for anything. Like, what do you need to be pardoned for if you're so innocent and you need to step down? But that's a whole other conversation for a whole nother day. We can go in on him completely. But the way that they've treated him, it just goes to show that rich lives in New York City matter more than regular civilians. And this is I feel like the overall moral to this story, that y'all feel like our lives don't matter. Y'all don't give a damn about us. All these countless people who's lost children due to or people who have been caught up in the middle of mass shootings, y'all don't give a good goddamn about them. Because laws would have changed a long time ago. But now they talking about even putting Luigi to death, putting him on a death penalty because of this. So, and calling him a terrorist, when I could have sworn the definition of a terrorist is if you kill more than one person, not shoot one person in the back. He killed a person. He didn't kill a multitude of people. And there's been people out here who have caused mass shootings in America. Why aren't they on the death penalty? But Luigi Mangione, y'all want to set an example to him because y'all don't want anybody else getting an idea on wanting to be a copycat and do the same thing this kid is doing. So this is what I feel like all of this is. Y'all are just trying to set an example. The only problem is a lot of these idiots over here in mainstream media who are trying to push this narrative, and I've even had some of y'all in my comments who have been like, oh, well, if he looked like he wasn't attractive, y'all wouldn't be saying this. Or if y'all trying to water it down to solely based on his looks. Yes, he is a good looking young man. He does not take a bad picture. Even here, and many of the pictures I put up, I couldn't find one bad picture of Luigi. He can't help the fact that he's attractive. But why is that why is it the go-to argument instead of y'all wanting to have the real conversation that we should be having? The fact that the real murderers in this country are these insurance companies, is the medical industry. They're the real murderers. Not, okay, now, technically, you did take a life, allegedly. I don't know, I wasn't there. But according to them, that's what happened. But that's why the trial has to happen. You have to prove in the court of law that he's guilty. And it's going to be hard for them to find a juror who hasn't been affected by the medical industry. So they can get up there and lie and be like, "Well, you're going to be biased." No, I'll be impartial, and then get up there and be like, "Free Luigi." Keep that shit to yourselves and find them not guilty. But that will piss these rich folks off. That'll piss these CEOs off. And sometimes y'all got to realize that, we're not going to take it anymore. In the words of D. Snyder, we're not going to take it. Then y'all going to sit up here and use us or make billions of dollars off of these bodies and denying them health care. So according to ABC News, they said the 26-year-old Mangione entered the Manhattan courtroom in shackles on his feet so he couldn't dance and under heavy guard, which I didn't understand that. I was like, there was literally 4 guards behind him when he was sitting at, the desk with his attorney, who, is the wife of the attorney of, speaking of Diddy, of the Diddler. So yeah, we need all these people to be walking him in. I don't understand that. So yeah, you got all these people surrounding him. There's his attorney here, and there's him there. Those eyebrows is done, honey. Shout out to whoever threaded them eyebrows in jail and gave him a good shape up with the hair. And there he is, but this is what the attorney is going to be talking. I don't understand why. It's like he's sitting there cool, calm, and collected. He's not a danger, but this is the narrative that the media and the people behind the scene with the NYPD, whatever, they're trying to perpetuate this image, but we're not dumb. A lot of people are really smart enough to wake up to the situation and realize we see the game y'all are trying to play up in here. And they may be able to feed y'all this bullshit over there on mainstream corporate media, but we see through it. We see through it. We see through all your damn Maybelline, in the words of Peaches, to Miss Pocahontas and a low down dirty shame. So now, as they said that he appeared, in the courtroom wearing a maroon sweater over a light colored shirt and a pair of chinos. And I think he had his prison shoes on because the shoes was orange. So that was the automatic giveaway. Now, Mangione spoke into a microphone saying not guilty to the 11 charges in the indictment, including first-degree murder in furtherance of terrorism. Judge Gregory Carroll presided over the arraignment. Now, the high-profile defendant appeared to not have any family in the courtroom, but about 24 women who waited in line in the frigid cold. Yeah, it has been cold, child. It has been 19 degrees today in New York. Right now, it is 24 degrees in New York. That's how cold it is. Welcome to winter. Now, they said that about 24 women, as I said, waited in line in the frigid cold for public seats in the courtroom gallery, said they were there to support Mangione. Most of the women wore face masks, and a few appeared visibly emotional as Mangione entered the courtroom. So this is the angle that's starting to piss me off, because I see what y'all trying to do with that line. About 24 women waiting in line in the frigid cold, and they appeared emotional as he entered the courtroom. So what it feels like y'all doing is y'all making it seem like these girls' pussies are getting puckered up over Luigi Mangione. This is fangirling. It's, oh my God, he's so hot. This is where they're trying to go with this. But it's like, I'm still keeping my foot on the neck of the reality of we need to push that shit aside. We can get past the part that he's attractive. The reality is that the why he did allegedly what he did, which is a word that it seemed to be foreign to Mayor Adams and the NYPD and all these other people. Y'all already, tomorrow, well, I'm going to play y'all the clip, actually, of what his attorney said in the courtroom, because I want y'all to get an idea of all the other stuff. So they said, this is a grave injustice, and that's why people are here. This is what one of the women said as she arrived at the courthouse at 5 a.m. And this is what she told ABC News. Now, during the arraignment, prosecutor Joel Seidman said the Manhattan District Attorney's Office has primary jurisdiction over the case and will try before the federal prosecution against Mangione. The accused killer will likely be returned to federal custody. This is according to Seidman. Now, during the brief court hearing, Mangione sat stone-faced next to his attorney, Karen Friedman Agnafilo, who was wearing a sweater and white-collared shirt that almost identically matched what her client was wearing. Now, Agnafilo immediately raised concerns in court that Mangione's rights were being violated, alleging the case was being politicized, which I'm going to have to agree with her on. I do feel like they are politicizing what she had to, this whole situation with him. But I do have a clip where she went in on Mayor Adams and basically said that he's basically trying to influence the jury pool with prejudice statements and said his client is being treated like a spectacle whose right to a fair trial is being violated. And I absolutely agree with her on that. So we're going to play that clip and then we'll come back with the rest of the show. Please hold.
I'm very concerned about my client's right to a fair trial in this case. He's being prejudiced by some statements that are being made by government officials. Like every other defendant, he is entitled to a presumption of innocence. But unfortunately, the way this has been handled so far, his rights are being violated. And as you know, Your Honor, there's a wealth of case law guaranteeing his right to a fair trial, but none of the safeguards have been put in place yet here. In fact, it's just the opposite of what's been happening. He's a young man, and he is being treated like a human ping pong ball between two warring jurisdictions here. These federal and state prosecutors are coordinating with one another, but at the expense of him. They have conflicting theories in their indictments, and they are literally treating him like he is like some sort of political fodder, like some sort of spectacle. He was on display for everyone to see in the biggest staged perp walk I've ever seen in my career. It was absolutely unnecessary. He's been cooperative with law enforcement. He had been in custody for over a week. He waived extradition. He was cooperative at all accounts. There was no reason for the NYPD and everybody to have these big assault rifles that, frankly, I had no idea was in their arsenal. And to have all of these the press there, the media there, it was like perfectly choreographed. And what was the New York City mayor doing at this press conference? And frankly, I submit that he was just trying to detract from those issues by making a spectacle of Mr. Mangione. And there are consequences to this. He has a right to a fair trial. And I just want to put on the record statements that the mayor made publicly about my client. Nothing saying alleged, for example. And he said, I wanted to send a strong message with the police commissioner that we're leading from the front. I'm not going to just allow him to come into our city. I wanted to look him in the eye and state, you carried out this terrorist act in my city, the city of New York that I love. And he wanted to show symbolism. Your Honor, he's not a symbol. He's somebody who is afforded the right to a fair trial. He's innocent until proven guilty. And the mayor was talking to jurors, future potential jurors that elected him. Those are the people that elected him, that he is talking to and calling this man a terrorist. So, Your Honor, I just want to make a record of this and put everyone on notice that this has to stop. And my client is entitled to a fair trial and the presumption of innocence. And we're going to fight these charges, whether it's in the state or federal, to the fullest extent. Thank you, Your Honor.
Yep. So there's that. And yeah, so in the meantime, I was like, I'm sorry if y'all was hearing like the cross voice thing. I had to log into my TikTok. But I do have the video for that where you see him being paraded around like this perp wall that they showed that they were talking about. Well, it looked like it was across the bridge or something or another. So yeah, I happen to see this where you see this video here where it was like, yeah, they said they parading Luigi Mangione around like he's a Batman villain. So you literally have him walking around in this way, like, really, this is what we doing in America? Like, this is your version of just trying to set, I guess, an example of, of him in some sort of way. Like, I just think it's ridiculous, and it's a whole shit show that I feel like is going to backfire because, we're in this day and time where people just get so caught up in, the entertainment aspect or the shenanigans of, what's going on and stuff. And I'm just like, who are you pandering to? Like, who is it that you're trying to influence with all of this shenanigans and this shit show? So she also slammed last week's extradition of Mangione back in Manhattan to face charges, calling a massive display of force used in the transfer the biggest stage perp walk I've ever seen in my career. She also said that, she accused police and Adams of using Mangione as political fodder, which I do feel that that's what that is. And she said, why was he at the press conference? He shouldn't have been there. And then he was like, oh, yeah, I had to go down to the thing and I had to look him in the eye and I had to tell him, not in my city. You're not going to be doing that in my city. Because that's, how he talk. Like he got to eat in a bag of shit. That's what it sounds like when he talks, whenever, he opens his mouth. It's like, I need subtitles in that moron. So now, Mangione sat at the defense table conferring with his attorney and a prison consultant hired to be part of his legal team. He signed several forms before officers put him back in handcuffs and led him out to the courtroom. Said, we're going to fight these charges, whether it's state or federal. This is what Agnifilo stated. Now, Judge Carroll set Mangione's next court date for February 21st. Now, outside the Lower Manhattan courthouse, dozens of people claiming to be Mangione supporters chanted, how you going to say claiming when they actually had the signs? They clearly are his supporters. Said free Luigi, and the people united will never go for profit. Mangione supporters also held signs reading "Health over Wealth" in Luigi We Trust. One protester held a sign reading "United States healthcare stole my livelihood. Prosecute malicious profiteers." So the people are out here, they are not playing. They out for blood. And I'm not saying that they literally gonna be out here pow-powing CEOs, but you CEOs better wake the hell up and realize that, you know what, people not playing with y'all no damn more. And it said a Manhattan grand jury upgraded charges against Mangione last week to include first-degree murder to furtherance of terrorism, which is ridiculous to me. He is also charged in New York with 2 counts of second-degree murder, one which is charged as killing as an act of terrorism, 2 counts of criminal possession of a weapon in the second degree, 4 counts of criminal possession of a weapon in the third degree, 1 count of criminal possession of a weapon in the fourth degree, and 1 count of criminal possession of a forged instrument in the second degree. Now, he faces a maximum sentence of life in prison without parole if convicted of the state charges. There is also a federal case against Mangione as well. One of the charges, murder through use of a firearm, would make him eligible for the death penalty if he's convicted. Both cases are in addition to the charges brought against Mangione in Pennsylvania, where he was arrested and where he faces charges including forgery and possession of an unlicensed firearm. Mangione was transported to New York on December 19th after waiving his right to an extradition hearing that morning in court in Blair County, Pennsylvania. Agnifilo said the theories of the 2 cases appear to be in conflict, noting the state case accused Mangione of terrorizing a group of people, while the federal case accused him of stalking an individual. Huh? Okay. It said terrorizing. Who's the group of people that he terrorized, though? That's what I want to know. So I call bullshit on that. Now, Danielle Filson, a spokesperson for Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg, said this week that the state case will proceed in parallel with any federal case. Mangione, as scheduled court date for his federal case is January 18th. So that's all the latest that we have on this right now. You know, I will keep you guys abreast of this story as it develops. I will say shout out to all of y'all out here with your signs, you know, insurance lobbyists, line politicians' pockets, 117 million in 2024 alone. And they said, deny, defend, depose. You gonna lock this woman up for holding up that sign like y'all did with that lady that was pissed off at the insurance company for denying her health care shortly after there was a situation with Luigi that went on, and y'all went and locked her up and tried to treat her like a damn criminal. So y'all, like I said before, so we're gonna start treating people like this, the damn Minority Report, that apparently the word deny, defend, depose is considered a words that we can't use. That's considered what? Terroristic words or whatever. Like, I just don't understand. It just goes to show that a lot of these people who these 1% really think that they're running the show. And for the most part, y'all been able to get away with that for a long period of time. But the people are like, no, we're taking our world back, and y'all not going to continue to get away with the things that y'all get away with. There was another video I saw online, and I think I posted it in my stories, where there was some CEO that was sitting there calling us, you know, making a toast and look and talking down to poor folks and all this other stuff. So, you know, there are people out here that could give 2 goddams on what they do to people. They have all the blood on their hands and they don't care as long as they get to bathe in their, you know, wash it off, you know, by bathing in their money. That's the way that's how they feel about this whole situation. So they feel no ways tired about us. They don't give a damn about us. And if you don't give a damn about us, we don't give a damn about you. And I'm not trying to say like what I'm not condoning, and I need to probably say this millions of times for people to register, because people feel like just because you empathize, you understand with what these corporations have done to people and done them dirty, that I'm saying that that man deserved to die. Nobody deserves for their life to be taken, but also for that one life that y'all are so weeping over, that CEO's life. What about the thousands, hundreds of thousands of people whose lives have been lost because they've been denied healthcare coverage by their insurance companies or whatever the case it is? So what about those lives? What about people who can't afford to take their children to the doctor and have to sit at home and thug it out because their child has some type of bad cold that they can't shake because they don't have the money to pay for it. People should not have to be paying thousands of dollars for care. Healthcare should just be not even a right, a privilege. It should be something that it should be just something that people get. The minute that you old enough to be able to live on and take care of yourself, 18, everybody should automatically be given healthcare. Why is that a problem? You know, they've been talking about Medicare for all for reason. I'm windmilling both sides because Democrats be bullshitting with that too. When it's like, oh, Medicare, they were going to deny your health care. Bitch, you've been, well, I'm talking about all of y'all bitches. Y'all been denied us health care too. And then I was just reading the thing earlier about Biden not trying to help out the trans community, and I don't see him doing no Medicare for all. He could have been pushed that. But of course, you want to blame the other side. You want to blame this one. Look, you just as guilty. But so, fuck both sides is what I say on this. So, you know, I say all this to say, what do y'all think of this story? The latest on Luigi Mangione and the videos and the clips and all the stuff that I brought y'all. Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below.